And
Ask
lastly,
God to be a part of your deal. Ask God to get wisdom from the man upstairs. He'll put the right people in front of you. He'll put the right connections, the right thoughts, the right ideas in your heart, and put you in the right places that you need to be. Pray.
awesome, man. Yeah. And the last one, what do you think about measuring and tracking?
What?
Measuring and tracking.
Oh, measure and track everything. I mean with my
Exactly.
accountant. I meet my accountant once a week, every single week. We go over the numbers. We go over everything. My weight, for example. I'm on a fitness journey.
Welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast, where we bring to you the most successful, happy, fulfilled gentlemen from around the world who have been able to conquer themselves, their life, their marriage, and their businesses. You will be learning from four-dimensional gentlemen who have cracked the code to the science of having it all. The question is, how can married entrepreneurs with kids become gentlemen, achieve true freedom, and build a successful, happy, and fulfilled life, marriage, and business? This show will give you the answer for that. My name is Alex Ramirez, and I'm your host, and you're welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, Fulfillment Talk podcast. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. As always, I have an incredible guest with me today. And I know I always say that, but it's because it's always true. And before I introduce this gentleman to you, though, I just want to give a big shout out to all of you who have been leaving comments, reviews, and likes on all the major podcasting platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, and to those who have been watching on YouTube as well. Thank you very much. And I want to ask you for a small favor today. I want to ask you that if you get something out of this interview, if you get some type of value, some type of insight, a skill, motivation, or the inspiration to go out and take action to keep on moving forward towards your goals, I want to ask you to please share this episode with 10 friends. Share it on social media, share it on Facebook, on your Instagram, on stories. Share it with 10 people, since this is how we grow. This is how we're able to share our message and motivate, inspire, and bless other men out there, other entrepreneurs to tap into their unlimited potential. So today I have Andy. Can you help me with your last name, man?
Audate.
Cool. And he's a published author, motivational speaker, and serial entrepreneur. He's widely recognized as an eminent speaker with a delivery that is high energy and human potential stimulating, which I love. And he's raised in a city of impoverished and a college dropout with little formal education, and took a path of entrepreneurship, forcing a course of endless self-education that has amounted to his success. And I'm very excited to have you on, Andy. Thank you very much for being here, man. And you are welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, man.
So, Andy, the first thing that I do with my guest, man, is I ask them to walk us through their entrepreneurial journey in 75 seconds or less.
19 years old, started my first business, made my first million by 21. Took that money, moved to Los Angeles. From Los Angeles, I built a marketing agency. Now I help small businesses grow and scale their businesses.
Nice. Cool. Nice, concise, and everything. So awesome, man. So you made your first million by 21. Cool. I like that, man, because, I'm on my way there as well. And I'm 21 as well. Well, not as well, but I'm 21 and I'm on my way there. It's going to happen pretty quickly. So how did you make your first million by 21?
There's the overall understanding, and there's the systematical, like what was the steps. The overall understanding was I got a mentor, someone who taught me the ropes and showed me the game, as well as just grit and hard work. But the systematical, man, was I sold thousands of cell phones. I owned a cell phone store, and it was during a time where there was opportunity in the marketplace to really focus on getting iPhones and Samsung phones sold. And I came up with a creative way. Me and my team, we came up with a creative way to sell and market the same products that other locations were selling, So that's how we went about selling so many cell phones. And if you know about how the cell phone industry works, you buy a phone for less than what you sell it at, and then you sell a monthly plan on it. So that's essentially how I made money. And I did that thousands of transactions over time, not me personally, but my employees, thousands of transactions over time. We financed a lot of cell phones. We partnered up with a big financial institution, and we were the front-facing company where we went out to acquire customers. And I was 18 at conception. 19 at start when we started it. And so that was July of 2000, that was June of 2014. So, and then my 20th birthday, December 31st, I was driving, and I mean, this is a huge understanding, because I just came up from saving money in commission. So I was working at another cell phone store. So I was already in the industry as a sales rep. And I grew to be a sales manager. So like 17 and a half, 18, I'm working at a cell phone store, just selling phones, prepaid phones, and got an opportunity to become a sales manager, man, because I just shot up the ranks with sales. And so they were like, hey, can you manage a team to show them how to sell? And I said, yeah. So I took on the leadership role in one of the locations, which was like at that dealership, it must have been number 9 out of 10. So it was like the 9th store out of 10 stores. So it was not much of a big problem for them to put a 18-year-old to manage a cell phone store. But I took that store to number 2 in the company. And we weren't the best location, but I taught my team how to go out and go grab phones. And I was, man, 18, teaching 30-year-olds and 36-year-olds and 40 years old how to greet, how to qualify, how to present offers, how to close them, how to follow up, how to call back, the whole 9 yards. And then I took that skill set and went on and did it for myself, and even doubled down more when I did it for myself.
Nice. Cool. So you were, like an 18-year-old teaching, mid-20s, 30-year-olds how to do what you were doing, how to produce like you were producing. So, they must have thought there was something, and people listening must think like something that there's something special about you, right? And like, what was it, man? What was that special thing about you that, allowed you to teach people in their mid-20s, mid-30s, maybe even 40s, people who were working there? What allowed you to like teach them and lead them instead of the other way around?
I don't think there's anything specifically so special. I would say more so realistically, man, it has to be that what your mind is set on. I was just making an analogy, man. There's people that so currently today, as far as age, I think age doesn't matter, because I've seen people who are doing some amazing things at 15 years old, right? And they're on the Forbes list or Forbes magazines and articles, and they're being written about at 15, and then you got people in their 60s doing amazing things. I think it's what you put your energy towards. So I think the reason why some people are so interested at, oh, how could you have done this at 20 years old or 21 or 25 or whatever, is because during that time, during that age, the thought process is that you should be partying, you should be figuring your life out, you should be, thinking about what you want to accomplish. And then that's a time of trial and error. That's the majority think. That's the group think. That's how people think. But you could also just say, hey, I'm 18 and I'm very dead set on where I want to go and where I'm going to put my energy towards. So you just got to put enough time, enough energy, and enough willpower and enough research to find out what you want to accomplish, right? So you just gotta go ahead and focus on it. So everyone's like, go ahead and just do it. You just gotta be focused on it, right? Because if you think about it, man, like, I was just looking at someone's Instagram, and they were like flipped upside down. They were in their 20s. I'm 27 now, so they were flipped upside down, drinking like out of a keg, drinking alcohol out of a keg at a crazy house party, right? And I've never done that. I've never been upside down drinking.
But they've never, like thrown a fucking event progression conference with like hundreds of people, right?
And so they've never done that. Exactly. So like, some people might say I missed something, and like because I didn't do that. I'll give you another scenario about how dreams come true. Like today, for example, so a couple of weeks ago, let me go back a little bit. So I was raised in the smallest state in the country, Rhode Island, the smallest state in the country, and I was raised in the smallest city in the small state. It was 1 square mile, very small city, full of drugs, full of gangs, guns, knives, the whole 9 yards, right? I remember so many nights that I would just walk home and I would be content that this might be my last day, because I know this person got killed on this street, this person got killed on that street, the whole 9 yards, right? So, so that's where I come from. I'm grateful that I was that I'm protected and God has blessed me. And when I was working at Wendy's, 16 years old, I was working at Wendy's. My dream, my goal at the time was to be a drive-through coordinator. The reason why you want to be a drive-through coordinator is because you get to meet people. And
Okay.
And my goal at the time was like to be like so preppy, so nice to people. And that's why I got to become a drive-through coordinator, because I just wanted to meet somebody who can take me out of this hellhole. And I wanted someone to be able to drive up in a nice car, for example, own a business and say, hey man, I like how you're coming to me. I like how you're communicating with me. And when I made my order, I want you to come work for me and essentially be my mentor. That's essentially what I was looking for. So when at a time, this is at a time where I did not think that I was capable enough, that I was looking for someone else. I was looking for exterior, motivation. I was looking for somebody I could latch onto, somebody I could grab onto that could show me the way to become somebody, to become important, to become significant. And for years, man, I never got a chance. No one ever drove up in a nice car and said, I'm gonna give you a job. And it was around that time where I said, you know what, fuck this, dude. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna go do it myself, and I'm gonna become that guy. Now today I drive a of the year Mercedes-Benz. So I got a brand new Mercedes-Benz, right? And now the great thing is my company owns it, right? So my company owns my cars, my phones, everything, right? So I'm driving in the Starbucks and I'm talking to a woman. Now I own a software company. I own a marketing agency and I own a software company. It's two companies I run. And so I'm talking to this lady in the Starbucks box, whatever, taking my order. I'm like, she got a real bubbly attitude. So once I get up to the front, she's like, I'm just quiet. I'm just like, here's my money. Like, let me move on with my day. But she's like, how are you? What's going on? How can I help you? How can I be of service? Doing what she's supposed to do. And no one asked her. No one said, hey, this for Andy, you got to do this. She doesn't know who I am. So right then and there, I gave her a job on the spot, and she started today. I gave her, she quit Starbucks and she works for me now. So the reason I share that with you is because to recognize, man, if dreams fucking come true, but it's what you focus on. That's what I focused on. I wasn't focusing on partying. I wasn't focusing on drugs. I wasn't focusing on alcohol. I was focusing on, how do I make $100,000? How do I make 50,000 or 10,000 or maybe even $5,000 months? Whatever that number could look like. That's what I was focused on.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So what you focus on, where your attention goes, what does Grant Cardone say? Like where attention goes, money flows, something like that, right? Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Where you focus on, girl, something like that. But yeah, 100%.
But I'm focused on, but look, I'm focused on, like, when I think about business and I think about success and I think about creating success, like whatever you focus on, it's actually gonna come true, man. You just don't know what time frame. It could be a month, it could be 3 years, it could be 10 years, but it's gonna come true. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So you got to really put yourself and recognize like where your thoughts are going, because you start attracting those things. You start seeing those opportunities, because what you're essentially saying in your brain, when you put that energy there, you're telling a portion of your brain called the reticular activating system, and you're saying to your brain, this is what I want to create. So when I saw now mind you, this is not the first time that I was in a drive-through in that example. It's not the first time I was in a drive-through where I said, hey, I want to give you a job. I've done that dozens of times. But here's what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for when I offer someone a job, I literally give them a small piece of information and I leave. So in that example, I gave them my Instagram. I gave her my Instagram. She's following continuously on my Instagram. That's what worked. She's following continuously on my Instagram. She's like, hey, can I get your email? I gave her my email. Okay. Constantly following up on my email. Hey, can I get your phone number? Gets my phone number. Constantly following up on my phone number. Okay, great. I do an interview, right? I do an interview with her and she doesn't take the job. I mean, I don't give her the job right away. Maybe a month and a half goes by, constantly following up. And then I pass it to my operations manager, who happens to be my fiance. And I say, look, I don't even have the time right now to focus on this, but give her an opportunity. If you think she's a good fit, give her an opportunity. And then it ended up working out. And now she left Starbucks, comes works for me. But here's the thing, other companies, other people, I give the same opportunity, no follow-up. Or if there is a follow, it's very minimal. Like, hey, you saw me at the drive-through. I'm just contacting you about the job, and I might send a couple voice notes, and that is it. And then they might respond. I forget to respond. Next thing you know, they go MIA. Now, I'm not telling you this or telling anyone this because I want to gloat on a specific situation. I want to talk about a specific circumstance. What I'm sharing with you is that this is happening all around America, where people are thinking about, I want to take my life to the next level. I want to take my business. I want to take myself to the next level, my family, whatever that looks like. And they're very lackadaisical on that objective. So the opportunity gets in front of them and they're very like it's not, they're not pushing. They're not calling. They're not following up. They're not asking. They're not over delivering. They're not showing up powerfully. So for the people who want to create something successful in their life, you got to show up powerfully. You got to be in the space. Number one, you got to show up powerfully, and then you got to be heard and you got to be seen every damn fucking day. And that's how you're going to receive the opportunities that you're looking for. So it's not about somebody, Andy hired someone from Subway, Starbucks. It's about recognizing that what the difference between one who wins and one who doesn't win is that push, that pressure. So when someone hears like, oh, Andy made $1 million, or Andy makes $100,000 a month, or Andy makes 250 grand a month, or Andy may have $100,000 weekends, whatever that looks like, to some people, that's like, oh, some people are like, that's cool. And some people are like, I want that. The difference between the people that are that's cool and is because they know what type of energy it takes to create that. And the people that's like, I want that, they're not pushing up. They're not pushing enough. They're not putting enough pressure. They're not asking enough. They're not getting in front of enough people. They're not doing what it actually takes to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And I like how you hired this woman from Starbucks, because you hired her based on her character, right? Like, her character of following up, her character of perseverance, persistence, commitment and follow through. So that's one thing that jumped out. And I just wanted to ask, man, so what do you think is the difference between that woman that followed up with you until you gave her the job and, she started today, and, you've done this dozens of other people, and the dozens of other people who, you gave them a direction, you tell them, hey, call me on this phone number or follow up with me on Instagram, and they don't, or maybe they do it once and then they forget, right? And then they leave it. What is the difference? Like, what is the difference between those two?
That's a great question. And the difference between those two types of people is the same difference of the same that's about the 300 that's taking place in the 330 million people across America. The difference between one was super clear on what they wanted. The other groups wasn't. So when you're not clear on what you want, your follow-up is weak. Your sense of direction is weak. Your feeling of confidence and triumph is weak if you're not clear on what you want. And all it takes is nothing but a decision. Think about close your eyes for a moment and think about what a pink elephant looks like. Right? You see it. You see a pink elephant. It's quick. That's what thought is. So to think about a pink elephant is that moment. So if all you want in life is a pink elephant, let's just be serious. You may go to a bunch of zoos, you may be in the wild, and you may not see it until you pick up a fucking paintbrush and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna take this elephant, I'm gonna get the elephant, and I'm gonna turn it pink. I'm gonna turn this elephant pink. Okay, the paint don't work. All right, I'm gonna figure out another solution. All right, what do I gotta do? I gotta help this elephant turn pink. Now you got a fucking pink elephant. So now you got a pink elephant, and you're like, okay, I got what I wanted. But there's so many people that are like, I want a pink elephant. That'd be cool. That'd be cool if I got a pink elephant. And then they go to the local Starbucks, right? They go to the local Whole Foods. And so they're not in the vicinity of where the opportunity. So like everything that I'm talking about is very general right now, right? I'm not being clear and concise to a specific goal right now. The point that I'm making is that the difference between those two individuals is that one was clear what they wanted, one wasn't. If you're looking to be a distinguished individual, if you're looking to make an impact, you got to be super clear on what you want. You got to be fucking so clear that the opportunity is going to arise. The opportunity will arise. And when the opportunity arises, you got to be able to spot it out of distractions to take advantage of the opportunity in that time frame. If you're not clear on the opportunity of what you're looking for, then guess what you're living on? Luck. You're hoping and you're wishing that things turn out the best for you. And even if they do turn out the best for you, you don't even recognize that they're the best for you. The reason why? Because you didn't even know what the fuck you wanted in the first place.
Hey, sorry for the interruption. Real quick, do you want to know how I've been using my podcast to build a multi-million-dollar network with over 100 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs, reach hundreds of my ideal clients with my message, coaching, service, and podcast, get invited to speak on 4 stages in the last 2 months alone, throw my own events, and have over 100 successful entrepreneurs being willing to speak at my events, become a millionaire in 1 year, get mentored by multimillionaires, and achieve goals that I thought were going to take me 10 years to achieve in 1 year, and ultimately get unstuck and make quantum leaps of progress in my business and life with less than 1 hour of work just by being myself. If you answered yes to any of those, I just want to invite you to a free training showing you how I've been able to build a multi-million-dollar network that is helping me achieve bigger income goals faster with only 1 hour of speaking and just being myself. To be honest, I thought I was going to be a multi-millionaire, speak on stages, throw my own events, and live a successful, happy, and fulfilled life of growth and impact in 10 years from now. That seemed so far away, but my podcast has been able to help me do that in less than 6 months. I'm actually doing all of that this year at the age of 21 with my podcast. I'm reaching thousands of people with my message, my service, my podcast, my coaching. I've gotten booked to speak on 4 stages in the last 2 months. And on these stages, I'm going to be getting in front of hundreds of my ideal clients, making roughly around 15 to 30K plus per event. Not only that, I have a network of over 100 high-level, multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs who have all agreed to speak at my events. Getting clients is a problem of the past. I've gotten the opportunities to learn from billionaires, and I'm collapsing decades of time, and I'm literally achieving what I thought was going to take me 10 years to achieve in 1 year. All of this because I use podcasting as a networking tool, and I leveraged a rare concept called the cloak track. And I want the exact same thing for you. Just imagine where you could be in 1 year from now if you get this free training right now. That is why I'm inviting you to this training. On this short training, you're going to learn how a small group of purpose-driven entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, course creators, and speakers have combined podcasting with this rare concept called the cloak track to build a multi-million-dollar network, reach thousands of their ideal clients with their message, books, courses, coaching, make an extra $118,800, get booked on 10 stages, and build a successful network of entrepreneurs who speak on their stage, all of this in under 6 months. I'm going to walk you through the 4 steps to make this work. Step number 1, alignment. Getting clear on who you want to be, what you want to do, your goals, your purpose, and aligning all of this with building your podcast and your ideal podcast guest. Step number 2, leveraging the cloak track to find your ideal podcast guest and never running out of them. Step number 3, leveraging the cloak track to close an interview with anyone, no matter how rich, famous, or out of your league they may seem. And step number 4, the content machine. The content machine is the key to tapping into other people's audiences. And I'm going to show you all of those 4 steps. The link to access this free training is in the description of this video. Click on it and go watch this training right now so that you can learn how you can too build a multi-million-dollar network that helps you achieve bigger goals faster and with less effort. Note, this training is only available to 18 people, so act right now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this episode. Bye-bye.
So what you're full of, if you don't know what you want, is full of complaints. So get clear on what you want.
Awesome. Clarity. Starts with clarity. And then I believe that there's 2 things that you need to make anything you want happen and to be able to achieve anything that you want. There's 2 things that you need, man. Right? Well, apart from knowing what you want, there's 2 more things that you need, which is enough time, because it's going to happen, right? It's just a matter of time, and commitment to follow through and to just not give up until the necessary time for it to happen, right? Obviously. So you know what you want, enough time, and then commit to make the decision to go for it.
The last thing would be not to be attached to the path.
To the vehicle, exactly, yeah.
Not to the vehicle, to the path.
Okay.
The way that it goes about, if you're like, hey, I wanna start a business, whatever that business looks like, and you're like, I want to make this business super successful. Don't be attached to the idea of it being this business. Don't be attached to the idea of it even being a business in the first place. Don't be attached to the idea of you being a business owner, of an individual being a business owner. you got to ask yourself, like, what is the real outcome that you're looking to accomplish? Is it a time freedom thing? Is it a money thing? Is it a relationship thing? Like, are you looking to make money because you're going to attract certain people, you're going to attract certain women? So focus on what your true desire is, and don't be attached to the way that it gets there. Be attached to the vision, not the path that it takes to get there. Because some people are like, no, I got to become a successful business owner. I got to do this. And this is why. And it's like, why? What if it's not? What if you make money by being the second man in a company and you're not a business owner? What if you're the best number two guy of a fucking growing business? Think about how much the president of Apple makes. They don't really own it. The investors own it. They're the president or the CEO. But they're making a shit ton of money, aren't they? You know, the number two man of a big company is probably making more money, most likely, of the number one man of a small company.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So don't be attached to the path then. That's like landing, because am I attached to the path? Yeah, I'm gonna sit down with that question and make sure that I'm not attached to the path. Right. What I do know is that I'm not attached to the vehicle, right? Because like I spent, at 20, I spent like a year, pitching over 65, 30 and 40-year-olds on how to grow their business without sacrificing time, health, and relationships, right? Like teaching them how to become a modern gentleman. And all I got was no's. Like all I got was rejection, right? Like that entire year was like a total failure. But then I was like, fuck, like this is my purpose. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, okay, well, if I'm not having success, if I can't sell anyone on the idea of helping them become modern gentlemen, I'll start a podcast interviewing, modern gentlemen, interviewing people who are modern gentlemen, and that'll help me become one, as well as anyone who listens, right? And then I started the podcast. I came up with an amazing system, and now like my podcasting business is about to, is going to get to 7 figures by the end of the year, man. And I started my podcast business like three months ago. So I still have this in mind. This is the ultimate result and vision that I'm going after. But if I had been attached to the vehicle, I would have never, gotten the opportunity to start this new business. And actually, it took me a long time. Like I had an amazing system. People were asking like, how are you getting these people on your podcast? How are you producing all of this content? And then it finally clicked, and I'm like, holy shit, I have an opportunity right here. And then I went ahead and did it. So, but yeah, man, it's very important to know what you want and not being attached to the path of getting there. Yeah, I think, that's something that we should not breeze over. So, awesome. So, man, I see your background, Progression Conference. So tell me a little bit about that.
So it's a business event that I bring successful business owners, and we break down systems on how to grow your business and scale your business at this event. So you're learning the different keys and the different strategies that people are coming in to speak, and they're already successful and they're right. And they're teaching entrepreneurs how to grow and scale their business at this one-day event, progressionticket.com, progressionticket.com.
One-day event?
One-day event, yeah. I started it 5 years ago or 6 years ago.
Cool.
No, 7 years ago, whatever the number is. But so I've been doing it for quite some time. Launched it. Les Brown was my first speaker at my first one. We've had some amazing speakers talk about franchises, how to franchise your business, others on sales and marketing, how to market your business, how to create marketing funnels, and how to take your business to the next level, utilizing the support of virtual assistants and creating systems in your business to remove you from the entrepreneur behind the wheel.
Cool. That sounds really amazing, man. And so you started running this event, a couple of years ago. So you were what, like 22, 21 when you throw your first event?
Yeah, I was 22. So essentially I made money in the cell phone store, in the cell phone industry, left Rhode Island. I just turned 21 and left Rhode Island, and I moved to LA. So that's the first thing you do if you live on in a small city on the East Coast. The first place you're thinking of, like, California, it's like everywhere is sunny, everyone's happy. And that's what I expected, because I come from a place where it's snowing and the attitude is like, go out, hustle, go get it. Like, by any means, whatever it takes. Is a dog eat dog world. And so I'm thinking that going to California, everyone's happy, and you experience like all I see online is like the boardwalk and, beaches and California, LA. So I literally just took a bunch of cash and shipped my car and shipped my clothes and shipped everything that I owned at the time. And I wish I sold that business. Now today I knew that I had an asset, but I mean, my mindset at the time was that you own the store, you take it with you. Like not recognizing that not any separation between the companies. So that company, the cell phone store was Progression Wireless, and I left Progression Wireless, closed everything down. It was towards the end of my closing. I think it took me like 3 months to close. And it was towards the end of my closing where I went to somebody and I offered him like, hey, why don't you buy this? But my rent was significant, man. I owned the way I was able to make money. I took some significant risk. Even though I was young, I took some significant risk. One of my rents of one of my locations was like $32,000 a month. So I was investing 32 grand before I could even make a penny. And then plus I had to pay payroll and taxes and all this other stuff, right? And sales taxes and all this other stuff before I make profit. But I was in one of the most prominent locations that you could probably think of. I was in the best mall at the food court where only 3 other businesses can be. And you had to pass, if you're in this mall and you want food, you're passing by my store. So I owned this up and we were aggressive. So everyone who passed by this mall with like a huge food court, in order to go to the movies, you had to pass by my store. In order to go to the movies in that mall, you have to pass. In order to go to to get food, you have to pass. There was like this one little hallway, and everybody that passed by, I would have salespersons there greeting, bringing people in. We would do the whisper thing. Let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you something I never really told someone on a podcast before, but we used to do this whisper thing where someone would be like maybe 50 to 100 feet away from me, and I would say, and people would be like, "What'd you say?" I'll be like, and they come closer, and I said, "What phone do you have?" And they would say, "I have an iPhone," right? And I would say, "Okay." I would say, "Okay, you have an iPhone. Which iPhone?" And they'll say, "I have the iPhone 11 or iPhone 12." I'll say, "Okay, great. Let me check it out real quick. iPhone 11." Now, we all know what iPhone 11 looks like. So I'll grab the iPhone 11 and I would say, "Okay, great, man, let me share with you something a little bit better." And I would say, "Hey, this is the iPhone 13. So I got, you got these 2 phones. This is the iPhone 13. I take their phone, put it in my pocket, or even worse, take their phone, put it behind the register on where our store was." And so I'm showing them this new phone. So you're either doing one or two things. You're either being an asshole to me and you're gonna say, "Give me my fucking phone back, I'm leaving," which is rare, or you're just gonna listen to my pitch. I would get enough people to listen to my pitch. So by the end, you're listening to my pitch, and then you actually recognize like this is actually a good deal. I'm in. So they were on their way to the movies, but then they're leaving with a brand new phone for me. So, and the transaction was quick, right? Our application process. So this is the beauty of having systems. Like our application process, it was like name, phone number, social, address. Congratulations, you've been approved. Scan the phone. Here you go. Here's your new phone. It's been activated with your new line. Anything else that I can help you with? And then boom, you're on to the next person. So we sold thousands of phones just like that. And so I closed down that business, man. I got comfortable. I got to a place where comfortability was, I made the most money I could ever think about, man. So I closed down the business and then I moved to California. When I got to California, within a year, I retired, a year and a half or something, I retired, and I just didn't work. I had no income, living in a brand new state, spending a bunch of ridiculous amount of money. I just didn't work. I had friends who were always going to work and I was always available. I didn't make any income. And then I realized like what small businesses need really, like they needed to know how to market. A lot of people didn't know how to market their brands. They didn't know how to get in front of people. They didn't know how to convert people. So I created a marketing agency where I started helping people. And I knew one of the ways that we can help people is by bringing the business owners together in an event where we can show them what's working, not only what I know that's working, but what other people are doing successfully in the marketplace that's working. And that's how the Progression Conference was created. 22 years old was my first time. Age doesn't really matter, but I was 22 hosting my first event. Les Brown was speaking. We had Leonardo DiCaprio's acting coach speaking. We had some real estate tycoons speaking. So age is not a factor, man. Age is not a factor. What's a factor is grit. You're gonna have some stuff against you, man. You're 21 right now or 22?
I'm 21 right now, yeah.
You're 21. You're going to have some stuff against you, man. People are going to doubt you. People are going to say, you're 21. Like, how could you be teaching someone who's 30 years old if you've never lived to 30, like, let alone create that level of success that they want? But the first thing that you got to acknowledge is recognizing what their challenges are, what their true challenges are, right? What is someone who's going at who's 30 years old? What are they really challenged with? What are someone who's 40 years old? What is their true challenge? And their challenge is they're probably starting to creep about time. They're probably thinking about time. Like, how do I accelerate this? And then number two, if you've ever been in a fight, if you know anything about like I've never been to prison, thank God. But when you're in a fight, when you're on a standoff, it's really who has the most confidence to create the most damage. That's really who's going to win. So the reason why people start taking out guns and start doing some crazy stuff is because they're trying to flex their confidence to do the most damage. So they're going that far. But the most intimidating, the most person who could apply the most pressure without breaking is going to win in the communication challenge. So if you're going to somebody who's 30 years old or 40 years old and they have more confidence than you, that's why they win. But if you go to them and you're like, dude, I'm not stepping back down. Like what I'm sharing with you can actually change your life and help you. And they're 30 years old or 40 years old or 50 years old, then if their conviction is questioned, that's when they'll succumb and they'll become a client of yours. That's when they'll be like, hey, you know what? I'm in. I see your vision. I see what you're sharing. Age is not a factor. Experience is not a factor. Conviction is everything. So if you can be in that room, I've been in the biggest rooms where at Berkshire Hathaway, 23 years old doing presentations. And everyone's looking at me like, what the fuck is a 23-year-old or 24, 25-year-old going to teach me? And I'm like, I can change your life and change your income and change your business, questioning what I can teach you. There's a new economy and I'm advancing the new economy and I'm going to give you access. You can either take the access or revoke the access, or deny the access. But if you deny the access, you're going back to what you know. But if you take the access of what I'm giving you, you're going to completely change your life and be ahead of the curve. Which do you want?
Yeah, cool. I love that, man. And see, that's why I was so excited to get you on and why I resonated with you so much, because I was going to, I was planning on throwing my first event this 2023, right? In Q1 of 2023. And like right now I'm comfortable. Like I have the right people in place. We're building a 7-figure business. And actually, man, 7 figures is small because I know exactly what we need to do to get there. I know exactly how we're going to get there. And if you ever set a goal that you know exactly how you're going to get, it's too freaking small, right? So instead, we're gonna make it 8 figures. And then and I'm like really comfortable, and I'm like, fuck. And instead, I'm going to throw my first event this November of this year. And I have over 100. You're like my 30 something interview. So I have a bunch of speakers, I have a bunch of high-level entrepreneurs who've accepted to come and speak at my event. And I'm going to throw my first event this November. And so it's gonna be great. I'm excited. And now, I'm a little bit like, oh, like now that's challenging. So I'm getting out of my comfort zone, man. And what's your take on that? Do you have any advice to make sure that I because what's the worst that can happen? Nobody comes to my event. That's the worst that can happen, right? And but yeah, do you have any advice for me, man, on that?
Advice to what? To what?
To fill up the event. Yeah.
To fill up the event.
Yeah.
Go after the bigger sharks. Go
speakers?
After it could be speakers, but not really the speakers, right? Speakers, you bring on a speaker to come to your event there, and you ask someone to speak. Hey, would you speak at my event? And what they're expecting is that you have an audience, right? So you're asking me to come speak to your audience. That's what you're asking me. Yeah. So if you're saying, hey, would you speak if you go to someone and you say, hey, would you speak at my event? You're saying, would you speak to my audience? That means you already have an audience. But if you don't have an audience, then you got to go ahead and focus on that. So you got to go sell the vision to someone who has an audience and say, hey, what does it look like if we work together? How can we create a win-win working together? What goal do you want to have, right? What do you want to accomplish at this event by having an event? What value do you want to bring to your audience? Now, and discover how you can add value to that person's audience through your event. Right. So you could talk to somebody, for example, who says, hey, you know what? Like I have, let's just use this example. Real estate agents. Real estate agents is an example. So you may have you may go to a real estate team lead, let's say at Keller Williams, and I'm sharing with you something that I've done actually personally. So you go to Keller Williams and then you go to the team lead and you're saying, hey, what value are you looking to give to your new agents? Like, what is your biggest challenge with your new agents, with the agents on your team? They're going to say, hey, what's up, Alex? One of my challenges, man, is like getting people to stay consistent. Like It's a consistency thing. I'm trying to get people to stay consistent. Okay, I have an event coming up called whatever the name of the event is, and I have a speaker who's speaking on consistency. I'll have a speaker there who's speaking on consistency. Would you be open if I just gave your group of agents a preview of that event? I'll come in and I'll speak, and I'll give them a preview of what to expect of that event, and they can make a decision if they want to be a part of it. Not only that, the outcome of that meeting you should expect is your team is going to be inspired and motivated to go on and tackle the next quarter. So we'll accomplish two things on that. We'll accomplish two things. Number one, I'll do a presentation for your group, and I'll give them a preview of the event. But also, that'll be number one. But number two thing for you is that we're gonna get them riled up for the next quarter. So I have June 1st available. Can we do June 1st? You're like, something to think about, man. And now you got to close that deal. That's the first deal you got to close. So they ain't paying you money, but that's the first deal. So you're always going to be closing. And that's where the confidence thing comes in, because he has a challenge. You have a consistency problem. You have a problem with your team members being consistent. And now I can't solve that in one presentation, but I can give, like, I can be the spark to the fire that's gonna be created. Would you give me the opportunity to create the spark in your team to create that consistency? Would you be open to that, John? And the person says, yeah, sure. Like, I'm open to that. Okay, so let's do June 1st, man. And he's like, you know what? Fuck it, Alex, let's do it. So now you go ahead and present. You give them a preview of what to expect at the event. You show them value, but you deliver on what your promise was. You show them the value and how to stay consistent, because that was the owner's position. And you also say, hey, look, guys, who here wants to come to my event? And you give them all an opportunity to come to your event. So that's one strategy of filling up the events, by going straight to the people who already have an audience, and you're showing them the value of coming to your event.
Cool. Awesome. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and implement that as soon as possible, man. Yeah. So thanks. So you have your event. You've also, written a bunch of a bunch of books, right? So, and you speak, all the kinds of stuff. So tell me about your books, man.
So my first book was No More Average. And that's what that is recognizing that when you get comfortable around the people that you have in your circle, you start to experience this averageness. You start to experience this inclusion, like this comfortability. And if you get around other people who are just above you, you start to experience this sense of being uncomfortable. And by being uncomfortable, you have to level up. You're forced to level up to create average. So here's what I recognize in our brains. We all want to feel included. We all want to feel part of the pack. That's why you only make $5,000 to $10,000 within the amount of money that your friends make. So when I left the cell phone industry, I went to somebody, and I just started a marketing agency, and I said, hey man, I want to make this year 100 grand. And I mean, that's the first guy I ever told my goal to. Like, I just said, I want to make 100 grand. Like, I'm in a brand new industry. No one knows my name. I'm in a brand new state. I don't have any product. I have literally nothing but a laptop. I have no name. You can't Google me like today you can. But back then, I'm on Forbes today. I'm doing a bunch of stuff. But back then, you couldn't find me on Google to save your life. I'm not on Google. My Facebook has my aunt, my uncle, and my brother on it, right? My Instagram is my high school friends that follow me on Instagram. So I got like 100 people on my Instagram that follow me from high school. And it's pictures of me, that one time I went jet skiing. So there's no really like value in the marketplace that I have. And I go to the guy and I say, I want to make 100 grand. And how do I want to make 100 grand? I was like, I want to make 100 grand under my name. I want to make 100 grand, as Andy Audate, not working for somebody, right? And that's why I say, don't be attached to the path. But and I'll share with you what I mean by that. So the guy ends up shooting that shit down. It's like 100 grand is nothing. Until I actually, like today, I recognize like truly 100 grand is not much. 100 grand is only 8,000 and some change a month. And 8,000 bucks, man, my friend, that shit goes quickly, especially if you're trying to run a business. That shit goes quickly. I mean, within a day for some, within an hour for some, within a week for many, right? That goes very fast. If you have payroll expenses, you have marketing expenses, you have preventative measures, from cyber attacks and legal disputes and so on and so forth. So you're preventing stuff. So you put money there. So you got insurance, you got all this. $8,000 goes by quickly. At the end of the day, what do you have? $1,500? Then you should have kept the job. So 100 grand was never the goal. What was the goal? But quickly got shut down. So that is like my circle at the time, even though I made the most and I employed most of my friends in my cell phone industry, my circle at the time was making about 100 grand. They were brand new to Los Angeles. They were working their corporate jobs and they felt that they were high in their corporate job. So they were making, their goal was making 100 grand. So I had the same goal. And then I got around someone who had a much bigger understanding, right? A bigger understanding with money. And this person said 100 grand is a small number. Now you mentioned like Grant Cardone and so forth. So this is a circle that I fortunately was in. So when I was in that circle, they're like 100 grand is small. So I'm like, what is the target? I mean, dude, at least a couple of million, man, at least 10 million plus to be comfortable in America. I'm like 10 million plus. So everything now, like even making $3 million a year is like, that's tiny, man. That's small. The reason why is because you start doing the math. When you start making some money, you start being attacked. Like, for example, man, we just experienced a cyber attack. So my web pages are going out to some millions of people. We just experienced a cyber attack on one of our platforms where people are pumping false data. They're pumping false data to us. So like, how do you prevent that? Now there's legal stuff, there's cybersecurity that you're paying for. So man, no more average. What that's essentially meaning is that the idea where I was at, for example, now mind you, this whole experience might have took me like 60 days. This whole journey that I just shared with you about going from 100 to another target, like that was like 60 days. So my journey isn't long for most. I'm not sitting on $100,000 goal for 6 months or 6 years. Like within 60 days, like I was off to a new target and I was already in the millions. But what I'm sharing with you is once I was with a group of people at this level, once I got to a new group, I'm not average in this circle anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like the group of people that I was at making 6 figures, it completely changed when you're talking to 7-figure and 8-figure ballers. And then you get around 7-figure ballers, and then this becomes the new base, right? That becomes normal. And then you're like, hey, I'm having different conversations. So for example, like, you know, like what's on my proposal today? Like what's on my plate for today, right? I own a marketing company. I own a software company. We're talking about some 7-figure stuff, right? What's on my proposal today that on my notes is this document here. And I have meetings, and what the conversation that I have here that I'm supporting them with their marketing is an airline company that has 12,000 positions to sell. Each position, the investment is $600,000. So they have a global marketing push. It's not even domestic in the United States. They have a global marketing push for 12,000 positions in their airline. And what their solution is that they have a bundle of planes to purchase, and the purchase price is $7.2 billion. And they're looking to sell 12,000 positions. The CEO reached out to me there because we're jamming, we're pushing. The CEO reached out to me and said, how can we put a campaign together to sell 12,000 positions? Gives me the marketing budget. And I'm like, yeah, baby. Let's take it to the next. Let's take it to the next level. So no more average is like, okay, great. You know, there's a 7-figure and an 8-figure play, right? Okay, that's comfortable. But then when you're talking to someone who's like, hey, look, I'm buying planes. The investment of the plane, of the amount of planes is $7.2 billion. This is essentially stock that's from 2008. So these are planes where corporate companies, corporate fleets sold off their inventory in 2008. Now the economy is booming. They want to pick it back up. So if I pick it up back up first, I'm in power. So this individual wants to go into power in their organization. So there, all these companies with the apps to like get a private jet and so forth. He's like, that's my competition. I'm looking for someone young who can lead this thing and take it to the next level. Can you do it? I'm like, yeah, fuck you. You're talking to the right person. Does the dude know I'm 27? I don't think it fucking matters. I don't think he cares. What he wants to know is that do I have the push? Do I have the ability to produce results and the confidence to make it happen. And I'm like, yes, I do. And I know exactly what to do to be able to make this happen. I just need the right resources behind me. So he's like, yes, let's do it. So what I'm saying, like no more average is like this constant push of getting in front of more people, getting in front of the right people to change your environment and change your think.
Awesome.
That's what no more average is.
To level up constantly, to constantly level up.
To constantly level up. If you really want to take it to the next level, that's what you got to do. You got to constantly level up, man. I know we only got 5 more minutes left, so I want to be, give you the most value for your group.
Yeah, and I have 5 questions. So a minute per question, man. The first question is, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self if you could?
I wouldn't even give it advice, man. I would just say, look, man, the most important thing is for you to really have that confidence, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. There's no target, there's no room that you can't fit in with. There's no group of individuals that you can't mesh with, you can't connect with. So I want to let you know, believe in yourself, my friend. Believe in yourself, because I believe in you.
Awesome. The next question is mindset. So what is one mindset shift that you've gone through, Andy, that you think has contributed to your success?
Believe in myself. Believe in myself. Look, for years, man, I've been trying to get my mom to believe in me, my friends to believe in me, and so forth. And no one really believes in you until like they love you. So it's kind of like, like you can go after whatever you want. So that's one type of belief. There's another level of belief where I'm like, yo, I'm fucking behind you. Like whatever you say, it looks bumpy right now, but I'm sticking to the vision. And that gets tough, right? Like when you marry someone, you got to marry someone who believes you. Like my fiance, she believes in my vision. She believes wholeheartedly. And she's like, I don't know where we're at right now. I don't know what this looks like, but this is crazy. And we're on a journey, right? So like, even just right now, I sent my fiance a text. I'm getting married in September. So I sent her a text and I'm like, hey, this is where we're at. In April, we were at this number. We were talking about monthly recurring revenue, right? So we put a milestone in our company for monthly recurring revenue in our software company. So I said, this is where we're at. And I said, this is where we're at right now. And she's like, damn, this is crazy. She's like, damn, this is nuts. This is not, she's like, I commend you for what you do. And I'm like, all I needed from you was belief. And even if I didn't even get that, man, I still would have done it anyway. So what I'm saying is like, believe in yourself. And the best thing, man, is for me to believe in me.
Mindset map. Do you have any advice for people who may lack clarity or may need clarity, right? We mentioned that you need to know what you want.
Yeah, what was your question?
Yeah, so do you have any advice for people who may need or lack clarity?
Just choose, man. Just fucking choose, man. Like, just make a choice. You can switch 10 times in a day. Like, that's fine. But like, just choose one. I think you're gonna repel people who want to be behind you if you don't have a direction. You can always change the direction, but if you like imagine this scenario, man. Like, imagine you're getting into, you have an opportunity to get in the car with somebody, and the driver is standing outside the car and they're like, I just don't know where we're going. I'm just trying to figure out where we're headed right now. And then this person is looking at you and they're like, okay, like I have the opportunity to get in the car, but this person it's not even moving. I'd rather move than not move. Like move in the wrong direction so you can learn what not to do. That's fine. You can move in the direction of what not to do. That's fine. Because you'll never do that. It's like, for example, like when I share with you that story of like, hey man, there was a time I had no income. Now I know for the rest of my life, no matter what I do, no matter how much we make, I'm gonna fight for more income.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna stop. Right.
Just stop.
So move, even if it's in the wrong direction. Move quickly. Don't. I'd rather learn fast. I want to take the next 2 days and learn what I could have sat on for 6 months and just to think about all the scenarios. I'd rather just do it in the next 2 days and find out the result and realize that was a shitty ass idea and never to do it again.
Yeah. Habit. What is one habit that you have, man, that you think is contributing to your success?
Pray.
Awesome. And
lastly, ask God to be a part of your deal. Ask God to get wisdom from the man upstairs. He'll put the right people in front of you. He'll put the right connections, the right thoughts, the right ideas in your heart, and put you in the right places that you need to be. Pray.
Awesome, man. Yeah. And the last one, what do you think about measuring and tracking?
What?
Measuring and tracking.
Oh, measure and track everything. I mean, with my accountant, I meet my accountant once a week, every single week. We go over the numbers. We go over everything. My weight, for example, I'm on a fitness journey right now. Every single day I send in my assistant. Well, how much I've my current weight, my body fat percentage, my water percentage, my bone density percentage. I have a specific scale that does that. And then I send it to her. She has a spreadsheet every single day. If I gain 0.01, it turns red, beep, 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 notifies everybody. So I got this accountability that's on me. That's like, yo, this is how you create some massive results in the shortest period of time. Measure and track.
Awesome, man. So, man, I absolutely love this conversation. So if people want to know more about you, where should they go? Where would be the best place?
At Andy Audate, ANDYAUDATE. Or I have a webpage with a webinar where I break down how to get new clients. So I think that's the biggest thing that I want to teach people. That's how you create time freedom. That's how you create money freedom, is how to get clients automatically. So I have this webinar. If you are interested, learn about mass awareness marketing, how to get awareness to the masses. massawarenessmarketing.com. Once again, that's massawarenessmarketing.com.
Awesome. We'll put all of that there, man. Thank you very much for being here. I really had, enjoyed this. And I'll see you later, man.
Thank you so much for your time, Alex. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you for watching the Gentleman's Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with one friend, leave us a comment, and let us know. 99% of people never leave a review or comment, but we love and are very thankful with the 1% of you who do. If there's something or someone you want to see on this podcast, send me a message on Instagram at Alex_Ramirez1020 and let me know. As a thank you for that, I have an amazing surprise for each and every one of you who does take the time to leave us a comment or review on YouTube or one of the major podcasting platforms